Hello, welcome to the new episode of Geek Lunch Meet. I'm your host Chris, as usual. Let's see what's been going on this week in the news. Wasn't not a lot happening this week, and then they've had the DC Fandome, as they call it, celebrating and looking ahead at all the stuff they've got coming out. So we'll get on to that in a sec. First of all, though, beginning of the week, James Gunn announced that Will Poulter has been cast as Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that he's currently writing and directing. Will Poulter were from Maze Runner and Midsummer. Very great, very distinctive looking guy. I think he was the original choice to play Pennywise the Clown in It, which he missed out on, unfortunately. But yeah, he's going to be Adam Warlock, who I'm not massively familiar with the comics. He's the bit one in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. In one of the many end credit scenes, there's like a cocoon thing that someone's in, and I believe that's him. I believe in the original comics, he's got the Infinity Gauntlet at one point. He takes part in the Infinity War. I believe may even end it. He's very powerful. So yeah, he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. James Gunn also mentioned, because you've got the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which is coming out next year for Christmas on Disney Plus, that it's going to feature his one of his Marvel's greatest heroes, or one of his favorite characters, I think he said. People are speculating that is Santa Claus himself, because he is in one of the comics, I believe. So we will see. That's not till next Christmas, but yeah, but Will Poulter will be Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 eventually. We also got the trailer for Scream. Technically, I suppose Scream 5, but they are just going with the title Scream because it is one of those legacy sequel reboot type things. It is a sequel to all the other Scream films. You've got Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox carrying on their characters from what's gone on before. But you look from the trailer, it looks like you've got obviously a new younger generation coming in. So obviously, if it's successful, they can carry the story forward. So it looks okay. I'll put a link in the description below as always. Also, time for me to remind you, if you could hit the thumbs up. Helps us out a great deal, and subscribe to the channel would be fantastic. But yes, going back to Scream, the trailer looks. I love the first Scream. Was excellent. I really like Scream 2. I think that's great. Scream 3, I did not like. I thought it was pretty crappy. Scream 4, it was not bad again. A lot better than it sort of had any right to be. Even the TV series was okay as well. So I've always got time for the Scream films. This looks like more of the same. It doesn't. But obviously, if they can do some meta stuff with it, update it, maybe even bring in the idea. Of these prequel, there's some bits in the trailer that sort of maybe they hinting at the idea of these reboots slash sequels. Have got their own rules and stuff that need to be followed. So yeah, the whole crew's back to be stabbed and slashed at by Ghostface. So January the 14th. That is. It's not massively long to wait. You would have thought maybe they'd brought it forward to Halloween. I don't know. Maybe production is still ongoing, but just January sometimes it's dumping ground. So yeah, those horror films these days, they tend to churn them out quite cheaply, and they make their money back quite well. So yeah, be interesting on that one. Say January the 14th. Masters of the Universe Revelation, the second part of the series, November 23rd on Netflix. They announced. I know the first part got a lot of flack on the internet from people who did not like it because it was different and dared to do something different and make Teela the sort of main character, and did and people are saying that they did He-Man bad, but I loved it. I thought it was really good because it did exactly not what you're expecting. People always seem to moan that they don't want the same thing regurgitated, and then someone does something different and people moan and they don't like it because it's different. Force Awakens is one, always gets ragged on for being a New Hope clone, and people said no, they wanted something different. So then they got The Last Jedi, which was very different and not what they were expecting, and we all know what happened there. So yeah, Master Universe, November 23rd on Netflix. Carrying on, massive cliffhanger. I won't spoil it if you've not seen the first parts, but yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that. Right, this brings us on to the DC Fandome. DC, their slate of stuff that's coming out. I enjoy some of the DC stuff. I wasn't a massive fan of the Snyderverse and what Zack Snyder had done. Man of Steel, I think I mentioned before. I quite enjoyed Man of Steel. It was okay, but sort of going on from there, the Batman versus Superman I thought was massively wasted potential. The first Wonder Woman was good, but the second Wonder Woman was pretty dire. Aquaman didn't do a great deal for me, which is a shame because I remember the trailer for Aquaman. I really loved and thought it had a lot of fun and a lot of almost like an Indiana Jones style adventure vibe to it. And then the actual film I didn't go much on, and Justice League I wasn't bothered with so much I didn't bother watching the Snyder Cut because I didn't want to see several more hours of that story playing out. But so anyway, going into it, they gave us a trailer for Peacemaker, which is the TV show that James Gunn has done based on the John Cena character from Suicide Squad. I wonder if Warner Brothers would have greenlit that series had they known that Suicide Squad wasn't exactly going to set the box office alight. But obviously that was already in production. It's coming to HBO Max in January. Yeah, so check out the trailer, say the description below, or have the link. It looks okay. I wasn't a massive fan of John Cena's character in Suicide Squad. Of all the other people that they could have sort of done a spin-off of, I would have preferred. It's got a few vibes of James Gunn's film Super, if you've ever seen that, with I think it's Rainn Wilson, where he's like a superhero, but he hasn't got any powers. He's like a vigilante, a bit like Kick-Ass. Very violent, very funny, very dark, like James Gunn's older style stuff. It's got those sort of vibes, but obviously not as dark. But yeah, that's say HBO Max January. So I don't know what we'll get on in the UK over here yet. We then also get a teaser for the Flash movie that's coming out towards the end of next year. Again, wasn't a massive fan of the way the Flash was portrayed in the Justice League. I find it very telling that the teaser that they've shown, there's not a lot to it, but it is basically more focused on the fact that Batman's in it because you have Michael Keaton is the main voiceover, and then the sort of big hurrah shot at the end of the trailer. We're seeing the back of his head with the iconic big ears from the Tim Burton movies. So yeah, obviously Warner know that Batman is their big one. He's the guy that always mostly brings in the cash. So they've sort of, I suppose, wisely for them, made him, foremost in the trailer for the Flash. How that bodes to the film, we don't know. There's also then a little bit on Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the Aquaman sequel. There's some behind the scenes footage because still being shot there. Also, is it Shazam? And the Fury of the Gods, I think it's called. Again, it's like another little behind the scenes bit. I'll put links in the description again, so you can see them. They're still ongoing. I find it strange. DC, tried to run before it could walk and emulate Marvel's cinematic universe, and tried to do it quickly without laying the groundwork. I mean, this is all stuff we know. It didn't really pay off. Now they're just going forward. They say they're not doing the Snyderverse anymore, but yet they are still carrying forward with the Flash and Aquaman, who obviously were a part of that. But these, they're obviously not going Snyder's way. They're going their own route, which is a bit confusing. And then you've got various other projects ongoing that the Suicide Squad fits in sort of with the whole thing, but it's separate as well. So yeah, it's all over the place. And then you've got the one thing that does look very good, I'm very interested in, is we've got the proper full trailer for The Batman, Matt Reeves' film that's coming out 4th of March. Matt Reeves, great, best known for Cloverfield, which was I really enjoyed that more than I thought it was going to, and for the last two Planet of the Apes movies with Andy Serkis, obviously motion captured as Caesar, absolutely superb. I really like those films. So yeah, he has done The Batman. We have got Robert Pattinson, obviously as Bruce Wayne, also known as Batman. We've got Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon. Andy Serkis, again, is back. He's playing Alfred the Butler. Colin Farrell, unrecognisable as Oswald Cobblepot, who becomes the Penguin. Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, who also we know as Catwoman. And I think Paul Dano, I think it is Edward Nashton, who presumably is the Riddler, is in it. So what a great trailer! A very stylized, so much different from Christopher Nolan's. I know most of the fan community absolutely loves the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. I like the first one. Batman Begins is great. I find the Dark Knight, I know unpopular opinion, but I find it a great crime movie, and occasionally a guy in a batsuit turns up. To me, it's not. It hasn't got. It's almost like it's embarrassed a bit of its comic book roots, so it's trying to be something other than than that. And then the third one, as Dark Knight Rises, I don't know if it suffers mainly from having lost Heath Ledger, unfortunately, and whether or not they were going to take the Joker story forward. But I just find, there's a not particularly a satisfying conclusion, which is sort of, I think most people have the same sort of opinion. So yeah, I mean, my favourite Batman movies are is the Tim Burton ones. I remember being in line in 1989, getting to cinema hours in advance to see Batman. And my favourite one is Batman Returns. I love, and in fact, we've got the Cat and the Penguin all back for this new one, and it looks much grittier. So again, with Christopher Nolan, I find his films look great, but they're very clinical, very clean. Whereas this is much more. This is dark and gritty. Looks quite. Say Robert Pattinson. I don't still not, jury's out on his Bruce Wayne. I'm not sure how he's going to fit in there, but his Batman looks great, and he's people are shooting him. There's bullets flying off. He's got a fantastic. The Batmobile just looks like a souped-up car, like a muscle car. And he just looks deranged in it. Lots of violence. And yeah, it just looks a much more sort of what if some guy who was slightly unhinged and had a large amount of money decided to literally put on body armor and go and take down criminals. So yeah, March the 4th, that is. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Who's your favourite Batman? Do you like the bat nipples on? That was a Clooney, wasn't it? Val Kilmer. We're even going back to the 60s with the psychedelic Batman TV show that I watched as a kid. All pretty good, all different incarnations. And as I said before, Warner Brothers know that Batman's sort of their bread and butter. So yeah, it looks like they've done him proud in this new one. So look forward to that. That's it for the news this week. Not really any reviews. The stuff I have watched was sort of Halloween sort of based stuff, and I'm going to do a special in a couple of weeks for Halloween, looking at some more horror films and series and recommendations and things like that. So I'll leave those till then. So so until next week, take care and eat geek and be merry.